How are you, lads? You all right?
How are you?
Thanks very much for doing this.
Not at all.
Not at
A
all.
few questions there, have you?
Well, about 100.
Yeah, just a couple.
John Byrne wants to know, tell us about your new album.
Yeah, the new album called Destination. It's out in about a month. It's basically, I recorded the bulk of the album with Greg Alexander from Roller Coaster Loving Each Day, you know, stable. And there's a lot of up-tempo on the album. It's quite guitar-based. There's a few ballads. There's The Long Goodbye on there. There's Joy and Pain, which is kind of a mid-tempo. And If Tomorrow Never Comes, which is the first single. So there's a couple of ballads on there as well. Then there's other songs on there which would be quite, not similar to Roller Coaster Loving Each Day, but I have that kind of idea about it, kind of guitar sounds and stuff. So there's that continuity through the album. And for me, it's the first time, I felt that the first album was quite, you know, there'd be like a kind of a country style here and then a poppy kind of thing, and then maybe, it was quite different, the album, different sounds, whereas I feel as this is one whole piece of work, you know, and it's kind of there's a great flow to it, and it's...
Stories.
Yeah, it's cool.
How long did it take you then in total?
Pretty much 6 months. Well, we started August of last year, so yeah, pretty much.
And it was London and Dublin?
Yeah, that's right, yeah, plenty of flights.
Where did you record in Dublin?
It was Windmill Lane we did all the vocals in, and then between Soul to Soul and Sarm in London, with Greg, and then Dave Wade mixed it. So it's great, and then Steve Mack did one of the tracks as well, which is the first single, If Tomorrow Never Comes, which is actually an old Garth Brooks song, but it was one of my favourites. So.
Well, Martina Bradley wants to know, what are your favourite songs that we should look out for on the new album?
On the new album, there's one song called My One Thing That's Real, which is my favourite record on the album. And,
Did you write that himself?
No, I didn't write that one. It's one of Greg's.
Greg.
And Picking Me Up. Picking Me Up is is a great pop song.
Have you done much of the songs yourself this time?
Yeah, I wrote quite a few of them with Greg,
Cool.
which is great. You know, and there's The Long Goodbyes on there as well. So
It's good for a few bob, isn't it really?
exactly.
Lauren Burton wants to know, if you're not already a pop star, would you enter something like Pop Stars or Pop Idol?
Are we too old? They wouldn't let me in. 25, yeah, they wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't let me.
But at the beginning of Boyzone?
Oh yeah, I would have then, yeah, definitely, of course. Yeah, I wouldn't do it now. But I would have done it then. Yeah,
And
sure.
what do you think?
Pretty much, Boyzone was the same sort of thing without the cameras, you know. The auditions for Boyzone, there was, 300 guys turned up, and it was pretty much a similar type of vibe, but without the cameras and without the, week in, week out. It was just, it took, 2 weeks to put the band together.
So Alison McLaughlin wants to know, if music was banished from the earth and you're allowed to keep one CD, which one would it be?
One album that I keep pulling out of the cupboard is a Joshua Callison album called Painted Desert Serenade, and it's just a very uplifting album that I love listening to. It's Yvonne's favourite as well, and it got a lot of great memories for me, and there's a few, when my mum passed away and stuff like that, there's a few songs that meant a lot to me, so it's stayed with me a long time. I love it, yeah, special, love it, beautiful album.
I see, if it was me, I'd take Now 52, because if I get bored with one kind of song...
Yeah, I like our style.
Sheila Eyre, I think it is, and she said, you were recently in Chiang Rai, northern Thailand, for a UNICEF project. What was that like and what was it about? Yeah,
I went out to Chiang Rai, MTV and UNICEF were doing it's called a Speak Your Mind campaign, basically, they were doing. And it was to make people more aware about AIDS. And Chiang Rai is highly affected and infected by AIDS. There's a lot of people out there that are affected by AIDS, so for some reason in that area in particular in Thailand. So we went out there with a camera crew and we just met some of the people who were trying to help, went to some of the hospitals, went to some of the families who were infected and affected by AIDS. It was mind-blowing stuff, it was amazing. It was quite hard to do, there was little kids, 3, 4, 5 years of age that lost their parents, and they didn't know if the kids had AIDS as well because they were too young to detect it yet, and lost both their parents being raised by an uncle or an auntie. And
it's a big reality check on something like that, isn't
unbelievable. But great to be able to do, and if we can bring some sort of awareness to the whole thing. So it was great.
And
Kaz Fullstone wants to know, who'd win a fight between Bryan McKnight or the Soul Solid Crew?
I think
and we'll change that to
Bryan
McFadden.
McFadden.
It actually says McKnight, but we'll change it to McFadden.
Well, they're against Bryan.
They're thinking of
Bryan McFadden.
They're thinking of A Knight's Tale.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what they got that one.
Of course,
Definitely.
Bryan McFadden would, if there was 20 of them. How many Soul Solid Crew is there?
27.
It's not far off, that was shocking. There was 27 of them. Yeah, you'd have a good go though.
Suzanne Foyad, nothing to Muhammad Al Foyad much, I don't think so. Ronan, I thought that your last tour was wicked, and what can us fans expect from your next arena tour in June?
Yeah, tours in June. It's all obviously the new songs from the new album, which I'm very excited about doing, because the last tour was kind of a, there was When You Say Nothing at All, and then a few different songs and a few covers and stuff, and a few tracks from the first album. What's great now, we're going out on tour with 2 albums and a lot of new material, as well as the singles and tracks off the old album that were my
More
favourite.
full.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's a full show for me now.
And touring is obviously the best thing for you as well.
Definitely, you know, like it is for you guys. It's your time, you know. It's your freedom as an artist to do what you want to do. And yeah, we've got a few tricks in it up our sleeves. Should be a laugh.
What do you do during the day when you're on tour?
Pretty much, you do some radio stations or magazines, you know, some interviews, bits and bobs. It depends on where you are and what country you're in. But in the UK, you probably get a lot more time on your own. So you end up going to the
Stay in
movies
bed.
or stay in bed or whatever. But when you have 2 kids, they don't really allow you to stay in bed too long.
Very true. Well, Lucy Darren wants to know, if you could be another music artist for a week, who would it be and why?
Living or dead, I'd say Elvis Presley. I'd love to, you know, just to be in his shoes.
You're
for
close
a minute.
enough.
Yeah, I'm not going. It'd be pretty amazing just to see what happened, you know, what really happened, what it was all like back then.
Another question from Lee Roberts, and he wants to know, what goes through your head when you're standing on stage in front of 15, 20,000 people?
Try to remember the words of the songs usually. That's all. You know, that's really what I try to do. Because
Well, we've been on tour with you, and you've been known to forget a few words.
No, 9 times out of 10 I do forget. Hello, the Billy Imagine the amount of times that ends up in songs.
It was the remix.
I remember a particular night at Wembley, actually, during the Boyzone Grease medley. And it
Oh
was,
man, every night man, I sang the wrong words in that song.
what was the song? The Grease song.
Oh yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, that one. There you go. Can't even remember that.
Don't even remember the song. Never the words.
What was the song?
Think of a Grease song. Famous Grease song.
Which one? You're the one that I want.
Go green light.
Yeah, and it was. Let me tell you, it was.
Go green light. Green light and go green light. Priceless. Every single night, man. It was very funny. But yeah, no, that happens. So 9 times out of 10, I'm trying to remember the words, the songs, and try to look like I mean it as well. You know.
Karen Louise Smith wants to know, do you have any plans on recording and releasing your new tour out on video?
Yeah, because we didn't do the last tour, so we'll definitely be doing the next tour. We'll be recording it at some stage.
Did you not do a special in the Albert Hall? Was that?
That was the tour before that.
Oh, it was the last one. Okay.
That was the City Hall tour we did. We ended up in the Albert Hall.
Right.
So then there was the arena tour
Right.
after that. So the next tour we will be filming, whether it be, you know, a box office thing or a DVD or whatever it may be. I'm sure it will be a tape at some time.
Okay, Sarah Jane Fox wants to know, you and your lovely wife Yvonne have 2 children. How difficult do you find it balancing your work and family time?
Well, as you know yourself, Brian, with the kids, it's you try and just make sure that they're there with you as much as possible. You know, that's the most important thing. You know, I didn't get married and have children to be away from them. So I try and be with them as much as possible, whether me being at home or them being on the road with me. And you try and balance your time. You go away for a few days, you make it worthwhile, and then you get home and you have a few days at home. You know, so it's you just make it happen. You know.
Makes it special to come home as well. Isn't it?
Absolutely.
And we were there for the first words and all that. You didn't.
Everything. Yeah, actually, Marie just took our first steps there the other day, so that was
She's
great.
brilliant.
Yeah, she's flying.
Samantha White wants to know, do you have a specific routine that you do before you go on stage?
I just like a few minutes on my own. I put on the stereo. On the last tour, it was the song just before I went on was Elevation.
Oh my God, ours was Beautiful Day.
In the dressing room,
in
now.
the dressing room, in the wardrobe, getting changed.
Yeah, it was
Beautiful
that
Day
album.
on
It was
stage.
the whole album. So you know, it was kind of
Elevation's a great
Elevation
song.
or Beautiful Day, or you know.
We had 2, with a Beautiful Day, and then some days it was Teenage Dirtbag. I don't know why,
cool.
it was just
And I literally just hop around the dance, around the dance floor, around the
the whole little dance floor.
Hop around the
That's
dressing
your
room.
own business now.
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh, I don't think I'd get a fly in the bottle video with that. Give it a break dance.
I do. I just hop around, just try and, you know, obviously build up some
Warm
energy
up.
and get going, you know. Just and then go backstage, say a little prayer, and just get into it, you know.
Great. I just want to ask you a question. Which do you feel was more important and felt better? Your first #1 with Boyzone or your first solo #1?
Well, when you kind of get your solo #1, it was like, you
It's
know,
yours.
yeah, it's mine. When Boyzone had a #1 record, you kind of distributed the weight of that across everyone's shoulders, and it was grand. And you thought, yeah, I was part of that, you know. It's grand. But when you do it on your own, it's an achievement, you know. And it was very difficult, you know, the crossover from boy band to solo artist. It was quite tough. But I was lucky, and it doesn't happen. Not a lot of people have, you know, done that successfully.
Omra Mumba, Samantha's little brother, he wants to know, do you have any tips for a young Irish lad just starting out in the music business? As you know, it's not an easy business to be in. So.
As you know, I don't know, you know.
We all know.
We all know. No, it's what can I say? You know, I was lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time. You know, Louis held the auditions, I turned up, and I got in the band. if I was to do it again, I might not get in the band with the, the way things have gone in the pop industry lately.
I think it's the same. Everyone.
The level of success, the level of professionalism now, the talent that's out there. I wonder if I would get in the band now if I was, So it's hard to say. The most important thing is, believe in yourself, find the right person, someone who's going to look after you, manage you, whatever it may be. And get into a studio and start recording.
Would you do anything differently that you've done?
I wouldn't change a thing, because the mistakes I've made have, turned me into the person I am today, and I'm pretty happy with that. So, no.
Jamie Henderson says, I'm going to Dublin in September for 2 weeks. As you were a Dubliner, where do you suggest I go for a drink, meal, or a dance?
Dancing. Tell you where to go for a dance.
Billy Brennan's Barn.
Billy Brennan's Barn. It's a dance at Billy Brennan's Barn. The bikes are going buying twos and threes. Lad. You tell them. You're better than I am at this.
Go for a drink in McGrath's and O'Connell Street.
Yeah, you do not.
Yeah, go for a meal in
Abracababra.
in Fairview. And you can go for a dance in the Harp.
Yeah. It's not called the Harp anymore. What's it now? You were in there last
Cuba.
time. What's it called now? Yeah, that's right.
The Kip.
The Kip.
If you want somewhere good to stay, the North Star and Amiens Street. Quality. You'll be well looked after.
There's plenty of good bars. Stay in Temple Bar, hang out. God knows. Enjoy yourself. It's a great town. It's very small, so you can't wander too far.
Claire Buckpit wants to know, if you could have written and or recorded any song from the past 100 years, what would it be and why?
It's really tough. There's so many great songs out there. I wouldn't be able to something like Happy Birthday or something like that. You want a recorded record or something.
That's like Shane said. We asked Shane, he said White Christmas.
White Christmas, yeah, exactly. There you go.
And Baby One More Time, Britney Spears. So we're like, what would you want to write down? Like?
Yesterday, maybe. Maybe yesterday.
The past 100 years.
Yeah.
Just
and what about today? What would you think today?
So if tomorrow never comes,
yeah,
you
maybe
yesterday.
Yesterday.